So welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about dealing with anxiety and depression. So I know a lot of people deal with depression and anxiety. Me, myself, I have dealt with anxiety and depression for years now. In the beginning, I was in denial. I didn't feel that I needed it. I knew that I had anxiety really bad, but I didn't think I had depression. So when I would fill out forms at the doctor's office, when they were asking you, were you depressed? I would say, no, I'm not depressed. But all along, the symptoms that were on the sheet, I had those symptoms. So it started with one day my daughter, I was sitting on the steps and I was smiling. And she came and she sat beside me and she said, Mommy, you're smiling today. What are you so happy about? And it took me back because I was like, I'm smiling today. Don't I smile every day? So it made me start to think, I have to do something about this. So I went to the doctor and I told her what was going on. She started me on some medication. I took the medication for a little while, but this was just for the anxiety. I didn't address the depression. She put me on some medication. I didn't like the way the medication made me feel, so I stopped the medication. She expressed to me that you need this medication. You don't need to stop the medication on your own. If the medication is not working for you, you need to come back to me and let me adjust it. So me not listening, feeling like I could overcome this thing on my own, I stopped the medication for years. So I went along, just trying to do things my own way, and that wasn't working for me. I remember times where when I would get off work, or if we had time off, like it was holiday or the weekend or whatever, most of my day I was sleeping. So I would eat, I would sleep. I mean, I was so tired, I was exhausted, I was drained. And it got worse in the wintertime. When it started getting dark outside early, I wanted to go to work and come home. I didn't want to do anything after work. All I wanted to do was be in the house, not doing anything on the weekend. Sometimes I wouldn't even go to church. I just didn't want to do anything. I wouldn't go to see my family. I just wanted to be home, eating and sleeping. So some years went by and I just coped with it the best way that I could. But I was so anxious and full of anxiety with my children, like not having patience. I mean, the smallest little thing would get on my nerves. I didn't like a lot of noise. It was just, my mood would go from 0 to 1,000. So I remember my family getting ready to travel we were going to New York. And before we were leaving to go to New York, I pulled up the directions to see what bridges we were going to cross. So we had to, one of the routes, which was a quicker route, we had to cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. And I begged my husband, please, let's not take this way. Let's take the other way that'll get us there quicker without having to go over this bridge. And he was explaining to me, babe, this is going to take us hours outside of the time that we need to get to New York. I was so upset, y'all. I got so nervous. I was crying. I kept going back and forth to the bathroom. I was so upset with him because he didn't understand what I was going through. And people that don't deal with depression, don't deal with anxiety, they have no clue what you're going through. They tell you to get over it. Girl, it's in your mind. That's crazy. It's just a bridge. It is just a bridge to you, but somebody that's dealing with anxiety, it's not just a bridge. It's not just an elevator. It's not just being closed up into small spaces. These things are real to them. It may not be real to you, but it's real to them. So we went over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. I had to take medication to get me through to go over the bridge. And thank God it was at night, because I don't know how I would have handled seeing the bridge in the daytime. So we went over the bridge, and I finally just fell asleep. On the way back home, he didn't take me that route again. We went the long way around because I was so anxious in the beginning. So I still didn't get anything to take on a daily basis. So I went along, just trying to cope with things the best way I could. And then about 2 years ago, I found myself very anxious. I found myself, my speech was getting slurred. I would be talking and my words would be getting all jumbled up. And I went to my doctor. I said, I have to get an appointment. I said, because I don't know if I'm having a stroke. So I made an appointment to talk to my doctor, and she said, Charmaine, it's anxiety. You're dealing with anxiety. So she said, let me try you on something to see if this will help you. If this doesn't help, we'll try you on something else. Y'all, I prayed, I tried to, just push through, but it was getting the best of me. And so I started taking the medication, and the medication helped me, but it numbed my emotions. And it didn't deal with the depression. So I kept taking the medication because in one aspect, it was making me feel better. I could get through without being so anxious. I mean, when I would get anxious, fear would grip my whole body. I would get so nervous, I would start sweating because I was so nervous about things that I felt was going to happen that weren't even happening. It wasn't even that serious. So that medication helped me a lot. And then I went back to her because I was having some side effects from that medication, which it wasn't terrible side effects, but it wasn't something that I was willing to continue with. So she adjusted my medication and put me on something that's solely for depression. So she said, well, this is not going to help with the anxiety, but this will help with the depression. So I said, well, I'll just work through without having the other symptoms. And everybody doesn't have these symptoms. So don't let that discourage you from starting the medication, because there's several medications out there that will help you and does different with everybody's body. But the medication that I'm on now, I feel like myself again. It was to the point where people would invite me places and I would say, yeah, I will come. But the closer it got to the time to go, I would back out, or I wouldn't show up, or I would say, well, I need to stay home because of this. I don't need to go because of that. I'm not feeling good. I would talk myself out of doing things that I normally like to do. And you should, dealing with anxiety and depression, you feel like you are in jail, but there's no bars. You're not living your best life. You're not healthy for your family. You are really like a dead man walking because you're not living your life. Your life is consumed in thoughts of, what if this happened? What if that happens? I can't do that today. The only energy I have is for work. That's all I can do. I need to get back home, and it's just a routine. You just get deeper and deeper and deeper into the depression. And sometimes you cry, and I'm a professional weeper. So if I know that if I'm crying and crying and crying and crying and don't know why I'm crying, there's a problem. There's something that you need to address, and sometimes you can't tell everybody how you feel because everybody, oh, you crazy, girl, you can get over this depression. I'm telling you right now, I'm saved. I've been baptized. I shout, and I was still dealing with depression and anxiety. I was praying and still dealing with depression and anxiety. There's nothing wrong with medication if you need medication. Yes, God delivers some people and he takes things completely away from them and they never have to deal with those things again. Yes, that can happen. But if that's not the case for you and he created these things that can help you, counseling can help you, because some things that you are dealing with as far as anxiety are old issues that you have never gotten over gotten over. My anxiety with water is because when I was younger, a teenager, I went to Me's pool, that is from a pool that is in the area where I live. And this guy that I went to school with, we was sitting around the pool, and I told him I could not swim. And he said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I can swim. Well, guess what he did? He pushed me in the water. He held me under the water until he was ready to bring me up. So after that, I was always afraid of water. Crossing bridges, anything that I felt like was out of my control, the fear would grip me so bad. It was terrible. So some things you might have to start counseling for. Some things that you can just talk out with somebody that's close to you. Everybody doesn't understand anxiety and depression and how that feels or what you're going through. But if you find somebody that you can talk to, that'll just listen to you, and let you get things out and say, I think maybe you need to see somebody. You have to talk about it. You can't live in shame. You can't let people talk you out of it because they're telling you that nothing is wrong. Mental health is real. These psychologists and psychiatrists are not here just because. The same way I take my other medication that I need that anxiety medication. I need that depression medication. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of giving my children and my husband the best wife and mom that I can be. I'm not ashamed of that. If I have to take the medication, I have to take the medication. But you have to recognize that you have these issues. Maybe medication is not your first choice. Maybe counseling will help you to the point where you don't have to take the medication. But you have to get with somebody, tell somebody, talk to somebody, because the suicide rates are going high. They're going up more and more and more each year. And it's because the people are not getting the help that they need. People are not taking people serious when they're having these feelings, when they're being withdrawn from their friends, their family, and things that they like to do. These are all signs that you need to talk to that person and say, what's going on? How are you feeling? Sometimes just cutting them off is not something that they can control. They can't control promising you something and withdrawing from that promise. And especially if that's not their character, if that's not like them, you need to check on them and say, I noticed that you haven't been going out, or you haven't been going to get your fingernails done, or you don't let your hair go, or you just don't care about yourself anymore. What's happening? What's going wrong? What are you going through? What are you thinking? These things are serious. And it can happen so close to you, where people are thinking about taking their own lives, where the things that they're going through is so overwhelming that they feel like life here, it's no point of being here. They don't have any purpose to live. But if you redirect them and get them in the right direction and show them that you're concerned, tell them that they're not crazy, because the crazy person is knowing that you have a problem and you don't get any help. When you're hungry, do you go to that refrigerator to get you some food? When you're thirsty, do you go to get you something to drink? It goes hand in hand. You know that something's wrong. You know something's wrong in your body. You know something's wrong in your mind. You know that you're thinking things that you should not think. You know that you are thinking about doing things that you shouldn't do. This is serious. You have to talk to somebody. And if the people that you're talking to, you're not getting anywhere with them, make you an appointment. Talk to your doctor to see if there's something you can do. Talk to your doctor to see if something you're taking is causing you to feel this way. But you can't let it go on and on, because you don't know what your next step may be. One of these times you might get so deep in it that you don't come out, that you do take your own life. So you have to be aware, be assertive, think about what's happening, recognize that it's wrong, talk to somebody about the issues that you're having. And it doesn't matter if you don't have a pastor, or you don't have your parents or somebody that you feel like you can talk to. Reach out to somebody. Somebody will get you some help. There's hotlines that you can call. There's counselors that you can call and get set up for an appointment without anybody knowing if you don't want them to know. But don't suffer because you don't have to. There's help out here for you. And it may be somebody that's watching this video that you don't have anybody to turn to. You can inbox me on Messenger. You can comment down below and say you need to talk. I understand. I know the feeling. I know the shame of thinking you don't want anybody to know that you have anxiety or that you're depressed. What would they think about me? You know, are they going to think I'm crazy? I know how that feels. But I decided for my children and my husband that I can't live like this. I couldn't live like that anymore. Just sleeping all the time. I mean, your life is passing you by. It's passing you by week after week. You're not doing anything. You're not going anywhere. You just want to lay around. It's more to life than that. That's not living life. And I hope that I've helped somebody with this video. You know, I pray that God touches your mind, you know, and gives you clarity in your mind to reach out to people, you know, when you feel low, to not be afraid to start something new. Because it's okay. It's okay to start over. It's okay to tell somebody, I need help. And if you don't know how to pray, all you have to do is say, Jesus, help me. He knows that you're depressed. He knows that you have anxiety. He knows that you're ashamed. He knows that fear is gripping you because he's right there. Just say, Jesus, help. Because sometimes it's the midnight hour and you don't want to call nobody, but you're crying, you're crying, you're crying. You don't know why you're crying. You just get on your knees and say, Jesus, help me. He'll help you. He'll be right there. But that doesn't mean that he wants you to stop there. You know, get to the necessary steps, get to the necessary people that can help you physically to get to the place that you need to be, to get with the people that will help you, and get with sincere people. You know, not people that'll get your information and talk about you and say, girl, she crazy. Talking about killing herself. Girl, don't be dealing with her. That's not the right people. That's not the right people. You need people that's going to build you up. Even though they don't understand, they might not be dealing with depression or anxiety, but they can encourage you. They can pray for you because you can't pray for yourself. We get in states where we can't pray for ourselves. We've all been there where we can't pray for ourselves. We don't know what to do. And then on top of the depression, my brother died. So I was feeling good. I was on the anxiety medication. You know, I was doing good. Then my brother died. So I was doing good for a while because the medication was suppressing my emotions, helping me to control my emotions. But then he died in the summertime. But then when it got closer to the wintertime, I got depressed. I was pulling back from church. I was pulling back from so many different things, pulling back from my family. And yes, COVID was a part of it. But I was trying to deal with all these feelings on my own. Just not dealing with these things, just putting them to the back of my mind, just going on with life. But that's not how it goes. You have to deal with things when they're there, pushing them to the side, suppressing them down. They just come back up later. So I just hope that this video helps somebody get the help that you need. Ask for prayer, join a support group, whatever it is that you need to live, because God wants us to live and not die. Especially not before our time, not by killing ourselves, not by suicide. He wants us to live a healthy, joyful life here on this earth before we transition over. And I just pray that today will be a new day for you. You will find the help that you need by the people that will love you to life and get you back where you need to be. Thank you for watching my channel. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time.